Hello, friends. My pleasant and humble wishes. Let us talk about June 21 current affairs. The first topic, COVID is not a one time disaster, says the center in Supreme Court. COVID 19 pandemic is not a one time disaster like earthquake or flood, for which victims can be compensated with just money, the center has told the Supreme Court. The virus is an ongoing pandemic which will continue to attack in waves. A broader approach is essential. Government was responding to petitions in the Supreme Court to pay 4 lakh rupees compensation to the families of COVID-19 victims. Unlike disaster of short and finite duration occurring and ending quickly, COVID-19 is a global pandemic which has affected all countries in the world. The pandemic has claimed more than 3.85 lakhs lives, a number which is likely to increase further. These deaths have affected families from all classes, the rich, poor, professionals, informal workers, traders, farmers, etc. The Ministry of Home Affairs, represented by the Additional Solicitor General Aishwarya Bhatti, said in a 189-page affidavit. Limiting relief to monetary payoffs was a narrow and pandemic approach. There was also no precedent of giving ex gratia compensation for a disease or a disaster spread out several months or years. The pandemic started in early months of January 2020 and the country is still battling the same with different intensity, different symptoms and different mutations with no certainty regarding the end, the government said. The massive distribution of compensation across the country at this point would dry up precious financial resources of the center and the state. If the entire state disaster response funds get consumed on ex gratia compensation for COVID 19 victims, the state may not have sufficient funds for organizing COVID 19 response, for provisions of various essential medical and other supplies, or to take care of disaster like cyclones, floods, etc. Already the finances of state governments and the central governments are under severe strain due to the reduction in tax revenues and increase in health expenses on account of pandemic, the affidavit explained. Besides, the Ministry of Health Affairs said granting ex gratia compensation for one disease while denying it for those accounting for larger share of mortality would be not fair and proper. Next topic. Infosys set for another year of market leading performance. Infosys is well positioned for another year of market leading performance in a post pandemic, cloud first, distantly digital era, said Chairman Nandan Nilekani. Unprecedented technology transformation driven by cloud and the digitalization of business models were shaping the next normal for us all, he said during the company's 40th AGM. The trustees of Infosys Foundation have anonymously elected Ms. Sudha Murthy to continue as chairperson till December 31. She is scheduled to retire on December 31, 2021 after serving the company for a quarter century. Infosys said it has expanded its financial commitments towards COVID 19 relief to Rs 200 crore. Amazon Web Service to leverage cloud to expand in India. Witnessing an inflection point in customer spending on cloud technology, Amazon Web Service is eyeing expansion in the critical India market by leveraging huge opportunities in sectors such as financial service, media and entertainment and telecom, a senior company official said. This is the perfect storm for digitalization in India, and we are seeing a huge inflection point towards customers investing in cloud technology. The South Asia Amazon Web Service MD. Amazon Web Service is growing its footprint in India, and we are committed to investing in India and putting the power of Amazon Web Service Cloud directly in the hands of our customers, our partners, and developers, he added. The growth in India is not just the enterprises segment, which I manage, but also its segments like digital native business and independent software vendors, because India is home to number of B2B softwares as a service. The media and entertainment industry is also an opportunity for us, for content creators to content distributions to digital supply chain. AWS is enabling all our larger OTT customers deliver e-content in India, especially during this pandemic time. Lastly, the telecom industry is another important market for us given that it has seen a resurgence during the pandemic. and working from home has led to an increase in broadband usage, he added. Negative perception on economy and employment rises to 8-year high. More than 80% of respondents say the country's economy and employment situation worsened in May 2021. Job losses in urban areas as a consequence of COVID-19 related to lockdowns have crushed the confidence levels of city dwellers. The negative perception of economy and employment situation has reached the high level record in at least 8 years. The negative perception remained high with regard to the overall price situation and incomes too. The survey has conducted between April 29 and May 10 in 13 major cities. Centre's tax revenue grows despite stringent lockdown on back of exercise duties. In fiscal year 21, despite a stringent lockdown and a raging COVID-19 first wave, the gross tax revenue collected by the center increased over FY20. However, the increase was made possible by a sharp rise in contributions from union exercise duties. This compensated for the sharp drop in the share of corporate tax collection. The shift in tax burden from the corporate to masses has come to at the time when the pandemic has led to many job losses and reduced income levels, thereby pushing more people into poverty. PA allows Centrum to set up small finance bank, paves way for takeover of PMC Bank. Paving the way of takeover of crisis-ridden Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank, the Reserve Bank of India on Friday granted in principle approval to Centrum Financial Service to set up small finance bank. The Centrum Financial Service was one of the applicants of takeover of the PMC. In principle approval has been accorded in specific pursuance of Centrum Financial Service Limited, offer dated February 1, 2020, in response to the expression of interest notification published by the PMC Bank Limited, the RBI said in statement. The RBI said it has granted in principle approval to Centrum Financial Service to set up a small finance bank under the general guidelines for on-tap licensing of small finance bank in the private sector. The PMC Bank has invited expressions of interest EOI from eligible investors for investment or equity participation for its reconstruction and had received 4 proposals. Selection in Olympics is my father's dream, says Lal Rem Siami. New Delhi's young Indian hockey player Lal Rem Siami on Sunday said her selection in Tokyo-bound Indian contingent is the biggest achievement of her career. The 21-year-old created history when she became the first female player from Mizoram to pick up for Olympics. The selection in the Indian women's hockey team 16-member Olympic squad also enables her to achieve another rare milestone as she managed to give her state an Olympic after 25 years. She said, "We have worked really hard in these difficult COVID times. We have made many adjustments and compromise, so we won't let that go waste. I know my role in the team and will work towards fulfilling them. The upcoming games will be Indian's women hockey team's third appearance at the Olympics and second consecutive, with the previous appearance that have been happened in 1980s and 2016. Helpline for aged women in Cuddalore district. Assistance in only a call way for senior citizens and women in Cuddalore district. Round the clock helpline number is given as launched by the Cuddalore district police for aged and women in distress to lodge complaints. The numbers were formally launched by the Superintendent of Police S. Shakti Ganeshan at the District Police Office here on Sunday. Mr. Ganeshan said that senior citizens and women could register their complaints so the police in jurisdiction concerned could act swiftly. This system was ensured that complaints had another channels to reach the SP, Mr. Ganeshan added. Meghdadu project comes under spotlight again. Despite being a non-starter, the Meghdadu Dam project across the Kaveri, being pushed by Karnataka since the early 1960s, remains a source of friction between the upper riparian state and Tamil Nadu. At different points of time, the project has made the headlines only to get relegated to the background. This stemmed the closure of suo motu proceeding by the principal bench of National Green Tribunal on the alleged violations of environmental norms in the implementation has brought Meghdadu to the fore. The project, originally mooted in 1948, came up for investigation after states were reorganized in 1956. It was talked about prominently in the early 1960s. Around the same time, Tamil Nadu came up with Hokkainakal project. Subsequently, Meghdadu was almost forgotten after the two states were locked in acrimonious disputes on the basic issues of sharing the Kaveri water. It came back to life when the two states have 5 rounds of negotiation in 1996 to 97. A few years later, the Central evidenced interest in reviewing it and formulated a package of 4 projects, 2 each in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, encompassing Meghdadu and Hokkainakal. So long as the center was in picture, Tamil Nadu participated in the discussion that went on intermittently for 10 years because it favored the National Hydropower Corporation or any other central government agencies executing the projects without harming the orders of Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal. On water sharing, Karnataka, which also took part in the talk held by the centre, has for the last 7 to 8 years reverted to its early stand for implementing Meghdadu on its own. Taking note on the deliberations between states and the NHPC and CWDT in the final order of February 2007 emphasized that whenever any such hydropower project is constructed and Kaveri water are stored in reservoir, the pattern of downstream releases should be consistent with our order. So the irrigation recruitments are not jeopardized. In February 2018, the Supreme Court, while modifying the CWDT's final order, did not disturb this position. In June 2019, Karnataka prepared a pre-feasibility report seeking to meet 3 broad objectives. The proposed balancing reservoir at Meghdadu between Krishna Sagar, Kabini and Mettur with capacity of 67,000 million cubic feet will regulate the release of the required quantum to Tamil Nadu on monthly basis as stipulated by the CWDT and the Supreme Court. It will also address the drinking water needs of a Bengaluru metropolitan region and the adjoining areas, besides generating 400 megawatt of electricity. Tamil Nadu's concern on essential over the basic future, says an official, as the site will be downstream of Krishna Sagar and Kambini. Tamil Nadu will be deprived of benefits of rainfall in the intermediate catchments of 2 dams in Karnataka and the Mettur Dam. In fact, in the last 25 years and so, water realization in October and November was primarily owing to its factors rather than Karnataka releases water on its own. Tamil Nadu has received about 80 TMC feet annually thanks to runoff from the intermediate catchments. The official says state suit filed in 2018 is pending in Supreme Court. For all these reasons, the Expert Appraisal Committee for River Valley and Hydroelectric Projects of Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change said that the proposal for environmental clearance could be reconsidered after the states reached an amicable solution.
Hope this video is very useful. I would like to say that our academy WAR, Win and Rule, is coaching students in various exams like NEET, TNPSC, UPSCs, as well as we are tutoring students from class 6 to 12 in all subjects. One-to-one student coaching is also available at students' preferable timing. For further detail, refer the description.